Lisa here. Today I want to talk about the physical body and the emotional body and the effects that childhood emotional pain and trauma has on us and how it creates illness in our bodies. I just spent a little over a week in a large support group for individuals with MS. And during these discussions that we were having, I decided to ask the group, how many of you experienced childhood emotional pain and trauma? Out of 136 individuals, only 3 said that they had a wonderful childhood. Every other individual said that they experienced childhood physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. This was no surprise to me, for I knew from my own childhood trauma that a huge link was connected to my MS manifesting in my body. 3 individuals became a little defensive and stated that they didn't believe that their childhood trauma had anything to do with their diagnosis. Their reasoning for this was that everyone has experienced emotional pain and trauma in childhood to some extent or the other, which is absolutely correct. But at the same time, childhood emotional pain and trauma doesn't manifest in everyone the same way. It doesn't just manifest in MS, as they believe that everyone would have MS. No matter how loving or horrific your childhood was, childhood trauma can manifest in your body as MS or any other illness or disease, physically, mentally, or emotionally. The physical body is made up of 2 components. We have the physical body, which is our meat body, and then we have our energy body or our emotional body, our etheric body, our mind body, our bioplasmic body, or the bliss body. It has many names, for it has many dimensions to it. But what affects one definitely affects the other. They are completely intertwined. When we heal the emotional body, we also heal the physical body. We all come into this world with basic human needs, psychological needs, the needs for safety and security, and the need for belonging. These needs are both biological and instinctual. When any of these needs are threatened from our childhood experiences that we encounter or from our unaccepted behaviors, what happens is we end up suppressing, denying, disowning, rejecting, and repressing parts of our authentic self, our personalities, for survival's sake, all before the age of 8. This is where our shadow self is born. Psychologist Carl Jung had first brought this concept to the Western world. He describes the shadow as the unconscious and disowned parts of our personality or our authentic self that the ego fails to see, acknowledge, or accept. From a spiritual concept, it is described as the conscious self becomes fractured. No matter how loving or horrific your childhood was, these little streams of consciousness that fracture off from the main river become tucked away in the subconscious mind. The shadow self is any aspect of ourselves that is not exposed to the light of our own consciousness. From the book, A Little Book of the Human Shadow by Robert Bly, states that the child puts all these unwanted parts of themselves into a little invisible bag and drags them around with him. Doing inner child work or shadow work can benefit you extremely well. In childhood, we depend on our parents and caregivers for everything: food, shelter, clothing, security, and love. All of our parents' perceptions, beliefs, and their behaviors are all projected on a child. Our traits as children are associated with being good, which are accepted, while others associated with as being bad are rejected. Our personalities are formed all before the age of 8. We adjust our behavior to gratify our needs, and we learn to adapt to our external world. Inner child work or shadow work can help us heal, can help us put these parts of self that we have suppressed, denied, disowned, and rejected, and bring them back to self. Doing so is by going within and shining the light of our consciousness on these rejected parts, these painful parts of self that have of consciousness that has broken off from the main river. Giving our child self the love and support that it didn't receive in childhood, and therefore integrating these parts of our consciousness back to the main river. Healing our emotional body, and as a result, our physical body heals. Inner child work and shadow work is painful, and that's because we face the experience of the emotional pain all over again. But once we go through it and come out the other side, we heal. We heal on an emotional, mental, and physical level.